Good evening. In today's session, let's discuss the next topic, that is GST, Goods and Services Tax. If you look at the whole world, there are so many countries. Every country has got its own taxation system. No taxation, no income to the government. That is the reason why every country has got its own taxation structure, and through that structure it will generate lots of revenue, and that revenue will be utilized for the welfare of the people. So this is the basic concept with respect to taxation. But when it comes to GST, GST was first introduced in France, meaning France is the first country which has introduced GST, and it happened way back in the year 1954, meaning India is not the first country to introduce GST. But before, much before India, the France in the year 1954 introduced the concept of GST. But when it comes to India, it is a recent phenomenon in India, and GST came into force on July 1st, 2017. Please remember these dates. Which was the first country to introduce GST? In which year it was introduced? Then how about India? Anything may be a question, right, in the examination. But when it comes to India, so this is not the year 2017 where we have planned. But way back in the year 2000, when Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee was the Prime Minister of India, the government has constituted a committee to look into the concept of GST. GST, as we know, is an indirect tax. Apart from GST, there are so many indirect taxes that are present. But once the GST has been introduced, all these indirect taxes have been subsumed into GST. That is the reason why majority of the indirect taxes that were existing prior to July 1st, 2017 are not existing now, because they have been subsumed into GST. Clear? So, but before that one, the so many indirect taxes have created lots of problem, and they have the cascading effect. People were, they were without their knowledge, they were, paying more taxes. So this is really a big problem for India. But people did not understand this. When the government understood this one, government started thinking about the introduction of a GST in India. But this is not going to be a small process. Whenever you want to introduce a new tax in the country, constitution has to be amended. Since the year 2000, the government tried to amend the constitution, because it is not just the central government. You have to take the state governments also into consideration, because this GST, this is affecting both central and state government. That is the reason why the government tried its best. In the beginning, so many states have opposed for the introduction of GST, because states felt that once GST is introduced, the states will be losing their revenue. That is the reason why large number of states were against the introduction of GST. That was the reason it was delayed. Clear? But over a period of time, what happened? When the government was able to convince the states by saying that whatever the revenue that is being lost by every state for 5 years, that will be compensated by the central government. And after this, the states have agreed, and finally the constitution amendment has been taken place, and finally this amendment has introduced GST, and it came into effect on July 1st, 2017. So this is a brief story with respect to GST. Am I clear? So now let's get into the details of this. If you look at this, the first point, the journey began in the year 2000. It took 17 years, and finally it became a reality in the year 2017. I already gave you the date, July 1st, 2017. the GST became a reality in India. Is that okay? So it happened on 1st July 2017. GST law came into force. Kindly remember what are all the taxes that we are paying now. Every tax must be mentioned in the constitution, right? If any tax is not mentioned, then government has to amend the constitution, then insert that tax, then you can implement it, otherwise you cannot. That is the reason why when you want to add a new tax to the constitution has to be amended. In the similar manner, by amending the Constitution of India, GST has been introduced. GST has been added to the constitution, and in the examination they may ask you what was the number of the constitutional amendment act. Please remember, the number is 101, meaning through 101st Constitution Amendment Act, GST has been included in the constitution. Am I clear? Since then it became a reality. Look at this. So these are all the points in the sequence. So these are the the incidents that have happened like this. In the year 2000, a committee was set up by the government of India to look into the concept of GST. 2004, a task force recommended for the implementation of GST. In the year 2006, the Finance Minister of India proposed to introduce a GST from the year 2010. Clear? So like this, this is how it got postponed for various reasons. In the year 2007, it was decided to phase out the CST, Central Service Tax. What is that? We'll be discussing after some time. This is CST, Central Service Tax, right? So we are discussing a topic called GST, and under that we have come across with the CST. Earlier it was present. Clear? In the year 2010, GST implementation has been postponed for the reasons I told you just now. In the year 2011, Constitution Amendment Bill was introduced. In the year 2012, Standing Committee started looking into the the points related to this particular bill. 2013, Standing Committee tabled its report. 2013, at the time 2004 to 2014, it was a Dr. Manmohan Singh who was the Prime Minister of India, and it was the UPA government, right? Again in the year 2014, GST bill was reintroduced. Clear? In the year 2015, GST bill was passed by Lok Sabha but not passed by Rajya Sabha. GST bill was passed by Lok Sabha and not passed by Rajya Sabha. In the year 2016, GSTN Live, Goods and Services Tax Network. Just hold on. You please note down this point regarding GSTN. We are going to discuss after some time, because GSTN is playing a very, very, very crucial role with respect to GST today. Similarly, in the year 2016, amended GST was passed by the Parliament and President gave the assent. Finally, it happened in the year 2016. In the year 2017, 4 supplementary bills were passed by the Lok Sabha. In the same year, they were also passed by Rajya Sabha, and finally GST became a reality on July 1st, 2017. So this is the history in India with respect to GST. Am I clear? Though GST was successful in large number of countries in the world, India took a lot of time for passing this particular amendment. Clear? Now, let's go ahead. Look at this. So when it comes to GST, this is an indirect tax. We know that and it has replaced many indirect taxes in India. As I told you, many indirect taxes were imposed by central government and also by the state governments. So many have been subsumed under GST. Clear? And GST Act was passed by the Parliament on 29th March 2017. Clear? So these are the various steps with respect to the journey of GST. And the act came into effect on, we know, July 1st 2017. This GST law in India, very very important one. That is the reason why I have highlighted and I gave a different color to these words. Every word is important for the examination. You have to understand these concepts very clearly and carefully. Clear? So when it comes to GST law in India, this is a comprehensive one. What is the meaning? We will discuss. It is a multi-stage. What is this? Please hold on, we will discuss. Similarly, destination based. So this is a comprehensive, multi-stage and destination based tax. Very very important one. And what exactly is the meaning of these three words? Let's try to understand. In the examination, in the objective type of examination, it may be a question: which of the following is true regarding GST law in India? A. Comprehensive. B. Multi-stage. 3. Destination based. 4. All the above. And your answer should be all the above. Please write down each word very clearly and carefully. Okay. Now let's look into this. GST is an indirect tax levied on the supply of goods and services. Clear? Levied on the supply of goods and services. And when it comes to GST is one indirect tax for the entire country. As I told you, before the introduction of GST, there were so many indirect taxes that were imposed by central and state governments. And people were paying so many taxes at that particular time. And all of them have been replaced with the GST. That is the reason why GST is considered to be one nation, one tax. Very important. Another possible question in the examination: which of the following is considered to be one nation, one tax? Your answer should be GST, goods and services tax. Clear? Am I clear? Next. So from here, let's go ahead and discuss more points on this one. Look at this now. Look at this. So when it comes to, this is GST, as I told you, so this is a multi-stage one, right? So what exactly is this multi-stage? Let me tell you. For example, of course, I have given you this example in the earlier session also, but because we are discussing regarding GST, so this is another appropriate time where we need to understand how exactly the goods and services are made and they will be made available to the people. For example, as I told you earlier, if I want to purchase a bread packet, I will go to a retail shop. As a consumer, as a customer, if I want to purchase chocolate, biscuits, bread packet or anything, I will be going to a retailer shop. Meaning, I know that I will get these products, these goods only in the retail shop. Am I clear? And I am not at all bothered from where they are coming. Because I am a consumer, I am interested only to consume. So I will go to the shop, I will pick up the products, pay the money, come back and I will consume. So this is what everybody does. But what exactly happens over there? How come those products have reached the retail shop? Right? So in order to come to the retail shop, first of all those products must come to the wholesale shop. What is this wholesale shop? Wholesale shop is a shop where large number of items are available, from where these items are sent to retail shops where the consumers, where the customers will go and purchase these products. But if you look at very clearly, in order to make a bread packet, first of all we need to depend on the agriculture. So without agriculture, without the agricultural products, I cannot make the wheat. That is the reason why I have to get the raw material. I means not me, but the company that is manufacturing bread must get the this wheat. And you have to get the products, the company will get the raw material. That will be made into flour. Some processing will be done, and finally the bread will be made over. But that bread as it is, you cannot get into the market. That is the reason why that has to be labeled. Is that okay? So you are taking the raw material to the company, there you are processing it, and you are making the breads. And once the preparation of the bread is done, so you have to pack it, you have to label it, and that is done by another agency. Is that okay? So meaning the raw material are getting transported from the source to the company. Bread is moving from the company to the agency where it is being labeled and the price tag is given. And finally from there that will be transported. Transportation service is coming into picture. So that will be transported to warehouses, meaning godowns where you are storing that. And from these warehouses different wholesalers will be coming and they are picking their products, and each wholesaler will be sending this to the retailer shop, and we go to the retailer shop and we pay the money, we purchase these goods. So this is what exactly happened. At every stage, my dear friends, let me tell you, you are undergoing some process. So without undergoing process, finally the bread will not reach our home. But everywhere under the process of this processing, so some activity is happening, and every activity will incur some expenditure. And whenever there is an expenditure, you are adding tax to that, because the tax has to go to the government. But how do you add this tax? That is really very important. Earlier, at every stage, you are adding the tax, but you are adding the tax on the total value of the product of that particular time. So when you are purchasing, these agriculture products, you are adding tax and you are getting it to the company. So when you are processing it for the purpose of labeling, when you are transporting, again you are adding tax to it. Clear? So the previous value and the cost of the product at the company plus the tax, then you are moving it to the the packing place. From there it will be transported to wholesaler. So everywhere you are adding tax every time, so that a tax is getting multiplied, tax is getting doubled. And finally, who should pay this tax? It is the consumer who has to pay the tax. So ultimate burden is there on the people. That is the reason why government wanted to remove this obstacle and loss to the people. In order to give benefit to the people, the government wanted to introduce a GST where this multiple taxation can be avoided. If multiple taxations are avoided, then the products can be sold at the cheaper rates. Today products are being sold at higher rates because the taxes are very high. Taxes are very high. So because at multiple levels you are adding the taxes. But under GST, very deliberately you will take care of this tax, and you are seeing that no burden will be there on the consumer. Along with the example I am going to explain you after some time. Please stay tuned. Clear? So that is the purpose why this GST has been reduced. That is the reason why when it comes to GST, this is a multi-stage one. meaning there are multiple change of hands an item goes through along its supply chain. What do you mean by supply chain? From agriculture field, the products are being shifted to the company. There, this is being processed and you are making a bread. This bread is transported to other place for the purpose of labeling. After labeling, this is transported to warehouses. That is called supply chain. Clear? Starting from agriculture field, right? Everything is a part of the supply chain. And from warehouse, you are sending it to wholesaler. From wholesaler, that is coming to the retailer. And from the retailer, we are getting it. Right? So from the first place to the final place, everything is included in the supply chain. Meaning every product is changing its hands. Is that okay? So from manufacturer to the final sale to the consumer, everything falls under the supply chain. Clear? So initially you are purchasing the raw material, you are going for the manufacturing, then you are sending the finished goods for warehousing, you are selling it to wholesaler, wholesaler is sending it to retailer, retailer is selling it to the consumer, right? So during the time, this VAT is coming into picture. So when this raw material coming to manufacture, it is raw material plus VAT. From manufacture, you are adding the cost and again you are adding the VAT. From wholesaler, again he is adding the VAT and that is coming to retailer. Finally coming to the consumer after adding VAT by the retailer. So like this, at multiple stages, you are forced to pay the tax because entire tax burden is on the consumer. That is the reason why, in order to simplify this one, in order to lessen the burden on the people, the government introduced the so-called GST. And that is the reason why, so this is called multi-stage. Clear? So this is a point number one. Number two, right? If you look at this, under GST, tax is levied at each stage. I'll show you after some time what was the situation before GST was introduced and what is the situation after GST has been introduced. I am going to explain you, right? So here, example we are taking, you are getting milk from somewhere, you are getting sugar from somewhere. Is that okay? Where are you getting the sugar? Again, it's an agriculture product from sugarcane. From agriculture, you are producing sugarcane. That sugarcane is processed and we are making it sugar. And that sugar is used for making a chocolate. Is that okay? And you are using milk, you are using sugar, you are adding other ingredients. Finally, chocolate is coming into the picture. You are packing it, you are labeling it. Then finally, the complete pack is ready. Again, it has to be transported to warehouse. From there, wholesaler. From there, retailer. And finally to the consumer. Am I clear? Now. So now we'll be learning more points on this. Kindly have a look at this. Look at this. So when it comes to GST, GST is levied on these value additions. That is the monetary value added at each stage to achieve the final sale to the end customer. Okay, hope you understood this one. If not, no problem. Just stay tuned. I am going to show you this perfect example. Then you will be able to understand this in a very, very, very clear-cut manner. Clear? Next, what is the meaning of the destination based? Destination based, what is destination based? GST is a destination based, meaning, for example, if you are producing some product in Uttar Pradesh and you are selling the product in Uttar Pradesh only, right? Producing the product in Uttar Pradesh and selling the product in Uttar Pradesh. So wherever you are selling the product, that is the destination. So manufacturing point and destination point is same because it is being produced and sold in Uttar Pradesh only. So whatever the percentage of GST that Uttar Pradesh has to get, Uttar Pradesh will be getting it because the product is being sold in Uttar Pradesh only. But if you produce the product in Uttar Pradesh and take the product to Tamil Nadu or Karnataka or Assam or any state, right? So from Uttar Pradesh you are taking it to Karnataka, but the product is being sold in Karnataka. Then who should get this GST percentage? Karnataka will be getting the GST percentage, not Uttar Pradesh. That is called destination based. Nothing to worry. Everything is tracked through online. Am I clear? Very, 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 very important. That is the reason why when it comes to GST, GST is shared equally by the central government and state government. Central government will get the huge share. There is no doubt about that one. But which state will be getting its percentage, that varies. If the product is, say the cost of a product is 100 rupees and GST is 18%. If you are producing the product in Uttar Pradesh and selling the product in Uttar Pradesh, 100 rupees plus 18, 118 rupees the people must pay. Out of this 18 rupees, the GST percentage 18, 50%, 9% will go to central government and remaining 9% will go to Uttar Pradesh. Similarly, so you are producing a product in Gujarat and selling the product in Gujarat. Again 18%, 9% will go to the central government and another 9% will go to Gujarat government. Is that clear? But if you manufacture a product in Uttar Pradesh, transporting it to Karnataka and selling it in Karnataka, who should get GST percentage now? 50% should go to central government only. Then what about the remaining 50%? Should it go to Uttar Pradesh or should it go to Karnataka? Answer is Karnataka, because GST is a destination based. Wherever it is being sold, wherever the services are being utilized, there you are supposed to give this share. That is called destination based. Clear? If goods are manufactured in Gujarat and sold final consumer in Tamil Nadu, is that okay? Then this particular, the entire tax revenue will go to Tamil Nadu and not Gujarat. I told you out of 18%, 9% will go to the central government, let it be any state. Remaining 9%, which state will enjoy it? That is the question here. Clear? And wherever these products are being sold, that state will be getting this percentage. That is called the destination based. Am I clear? Very, 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 very important one. Next. So what are the advantages of GST? It removed the cascading effect. I told you what is the meaning of this. This is mainly technologically driven. All the activities like registration, return filing, application for refund and response to notice needs to be done online on GST portal. This will accelerate the processes. This is the biggest advantage with the GST. We are exploiting that technology that is available and that is being used very effectively to follow up the GST. And we know that in April 2024, for the first time, GST collection has breached 2 lakh crores. Right? Hope you remember this. I told you this point even during our current affairs session also. That is the reason why, for example, April collection, that will come to know by May first week. May collection you will come to know by June first week. So you have to follow the newspaper very carefully and you should know what was the GST collection last month. Clear? And so far the record is April 2024, that was the highest GST collection. But it may not be true till the time of your examination, and before your examination at any month, so the previous record may be broken because the GST collections are increasing. During that time, if there is a question in the examination, you have to, once you are updating yourself, then you will be bubbling the correct circle. That is the reason why I always ask you to read the newspaper and follow the news. Am I clear? Very, 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 very important one. But as of now, we are in the month of May 2024. As of now, the highest GST collection has been recorded for the month of April 2024. For the first time, it has breached 2 lakh crore mark. Very, 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 very important one. Clear? So in the brackets, please write down April 2024 and should be updated from time to time. For this reason, I must read any newspaper every day. Right? Once you write down, when you are revising, you will come across even these sentences also. Then you will be forced to read the newspaper. Right? Newspaper really will enhance your knowledge like anything, my dear friends. That is the reason why I always suggest you to read at least one newspaper every day. Am I clear? So newspaper is not completely political. Most of the political issues are given on the front page. Clear? But it is not just political, but other topics are also like, social issues, economic issues, science and technology, sports, the cultural activities, national, international, many things you will come across in the newspaper, and that you have to update from time to time. Is that okay? Next. Even in yesterday's session also we saw this one. When it comes to the components of GST, CGST, SGST and IGST. You know the meaning of this. C stands for central GST. S stands for state GST. I stands for integrated GST. Is that okay? So when it comes to CGST, collected by the central government on an intra-state sale, meaning within the state, whatever is produced, whatever is being sold, on that one central government is taking its share. I told you already, if it is 18%, 15% will go to the central government and remaining 15% will go to the state government in the form of the SGST. That is the reason why SGST is collected by state government on intra-state sale only. Very, 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 very important. That is the reason why every state wants to increase its production. Every state wants to sell it in the same state only, because their revenue generation will be enhanced. Am I clear? When it comes to IGST, collected by the central government for interstate sale. Right? Interstate means producing in one state and selling in other state. Clear? So this is called interstate. Here the central government is collecting, central government is taking its percentage, and the rest of the percentage will be given to the destination based states. Am I clear? Right. Now let's go ahead and try to understand more points on this. Look at this. So when you are selling within the state, CGST is coming into the picture. SGST is also coming into the picture. So meaning whatever the 18% example, right? There are so many, slabs over there, rates over there, like 5%, 12%, 18%, 28%. I am just taking one example of 18%, right? So when you are paying 18%, 50% will go to the central government, and another 50% will go to the state government. Revenue is shared equally between the central and state governments. Clear? Earlier it was a VAT plus a central excise or service tax. Now you are calling it CGST and SGST. Is that okay? Next. So when it comes to the interstate sale, meaning producing in one state and selling in other state, then IGST will be coming into the picture. Is that okay? So the center shares the IGST based on destination. How? I told you already. Whatever the state you are selling, no problem. Central government is getting its percentage. But IGST will come into the picture when you are selling it in other state, that is a destination based. That is the reason why this is called interstate sale. Very, 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 very important one. Alright? Right? So earlier, before GST, you had all these things. Like, there is something called central government used to levy the taxes on manufacturing. That is called central excise duty. This is the service tax. Okay? Right? Interstate sale of goods, central service tax. Right? And again you have the state government levied taxes, that is called VAT, entry tax, luxury tax, purchase tax. So many taxes were, this imposed at the time. Am I clear? And it is clearly visible that there are multiplicities of taxes which are being levied on the same supply chain. Very, 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 very important one. Is that okay? And in the next session, I will show you the examples along with what was the percentage that was charged and how much more was charged before the introduction of GST, and how much is the relief to the people after introduction of GST. All these things I am going to discuss with you in the next session, right? And till then, I wish you all very, very good luck. Take very good care, and I'll see you in the next session. Thank you so much once again.